Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel CINECALIBER. Today we're diving into one of the most mind-bending, stylish, and emotionally loaded shows on TV right now, Severance Season 2. Now look, after that wild Season 1 finale, I had my doubts. Could Season 2 really keep up the momentum? Could it match the brilliance of what came before? Well, surprisingly, yeah. Not only does it hold up, it might even top it in some ways. So let's break down what worked, what didn't, and why this might just be the best show I've seen since Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones. We will start first with the plot summary. So in Season 2, we pick right back up with Mark Scout and the gang at Lumon Industries. Things get even darker as they dig deeper into Lumon's shady secrets, especially when Mark learns the truth about his supposedly dead wife, Gemma, who's not only alive, but also part of Lumon's creepy experiments on the testing floor. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's good. So let's get into what was a hit, the good. Because Severance Season 2, it brings a lot to the table, like a lot. And here's what really worked for me here. First off was the character development. To me, guys, it was like a chef's kiss. Season 2 goes way deeper into our core characters. Mark Scout, played by Adam Scott, continues to be the emotional heart of the show. We really start to see his two identities, Innie and Outie, not just as separate personas, but as two deeply fractured halves of the same man. His grief, confusion, and slow unraveling are heartbreaking and compelling. And let's talk about Dylan. In Season 1, he was mostly comic relief with a few serious moments. But in Season 2, they give him real weight. His internal struggle, his anger, and even his protectiveness comes to the surface, making him one of the most relatable characters this season. You have Helly. Helly's arc is another standout. She starts to question everything and naturally steps into a leadership role among the rebels. Her defiance isn't just loud, it's strategic, and you can see how much more layered and confident she's become since Season 1. And then there's Irving and Bert. Man, their relationship gets so much more depth this season. It's tender, tragic, and full of longing. It adds this really human softness to an otherwise cold and sterile world. Beyond that, we have the narrative. It's still a very bold and brilliant one. This show continues to masterfully blend sci-fi, thriller, and drama. Season 2 dives into even deeper into ideas like identity, corporate control, memory manipulation, and personal autonomy. But it does it without getting preachy. The story keeps you thinking without spoon-feeding your answers. And that's part of the appeal, really. The Cold Harbor subplot, for example, introduces a whole new layer of ethical questions, like, what does it mean to be you? If someone else controls your memories, that's next level storytelling, in my opinion. What's even more impressive is how Severance keeps its slow burn style without ever feeling boring. Every scene, every weird little detail, from the cryptic departments to the unsettling rituals, adds to the tension. It's a puzzle box, and watching the characters piece it together is half the thrill. The acting is next level in the show as well. I mean, the cast is stacked and everyone brings their A game. Trammell Tillman as Seth Milchek. He is so unnervingly calm and loyal that it makes you uncomfortable. He doesn't need to raise his voice. He doesn't need to raise his voice. His entire presence just screams something's not right. He's the kind of villain who gets under your skin without saying much. Patricia Arquette is just as creepy and commanding as ever. Her performance as Harmony Cobell balances menace with this weird, almost motherly affection for her employees that makes her even scarier. And then you've got the newcomers. Gwendolyn Christie's presence brings new energy and mystique to Lumon. She's intimidating but elegant, and her scenes immediately shift the vibe of whatever room she walks into. On another note, we have the cinematography and the visual style. It's still very elite. The show looks incredible. Everything about the visual design is intentional. The symmetry, the eerie lighting, the brutalist office architecture, it all works to make Lumon feel more like a psychological maze than a workplace. The color palette is sterile and bleak, which makes even smaller pops of color feel emotionally charged. The lighting is used not just to set the mood, but to show how disoriented the characters are, whether it's harsh fluorescence or unsettling shadows on the testing floor. And then there's the set design. The new rooms and departments introduced this season, especially the goat room and the testing floor, are so surreal that they make you question if anything in this world is actually real. It's all unsettling, but you can't look away. And then finally, that finale, it's absolutely amazing. When I say the finale sticks the landing, I mean it sticks it. It weaves together everything we've been following, character arcs, subplots, and emotional threads, into a conclusion that feels earned. There's suspense, there's payoff, there's heartbreak, and even though it leaves you with a million new questions, it doesn't feel cheap. It feels intentional. The editing, the pacing, the tension builds, I was on the edge of my seat. And let's be honest, Severance might have some of the best final episode pacing in TV right now. They know exactly how to leave you both satisfied and dying for more. So with all that said, guys, we're going to get into what was Miss, the bad. So as much as I love this season, it wasn't flawless. Let's break down a few things that didn't quite land for me. One was there was some pacing and issues in filler episodes. Yeah, the pacing was a big gripe for me. Several episodes, especially ones like Sweet Vitriol and The After Hours, felt like they were just treading water. Instead of pushing the plot forward, they meander through flashbacks and side scenes that, while interesting, don't add much urgency. It slows down the momentum right where you want things to start ramping up. You can feel the show trying to stretch its runtime in places, almost like it's saving the real meat of the story for the finale. And don't get me wrong, the finale delivers, but getting there could have been a bit tighter. There was an overemphasis on secondary characters, I felt. Now, I appreciate the character depth, I really do, but this season spent a lot of time exploring side characters, especially Harmony Cobell. We dive into her backstory, her motivations, and her strange relationship with Lumon, but at times it starts to pull focus from the main narrative. Instead of giving us more time with Mark, Helly, or Dylan, who have the most at stake, we're watching Harmony brood over, or I'm sorry, we're watching her brood or engage in cryptic conversations that don't always go anywhere. It's not that her scenes are bad, but they sometimes feel like detours. There's also some very overcomplicated subplots, like the Cold Harbor Project, the testing floor, and yeah, the goats. The show has always leaned into surrealism, which I love, but in season 2, it sometimes feels like it's trying to outdo itself in weirdness. There's a fine line between intriguing mystery and narrative overload, and this season tiptoes that line. Some of these new subplots feel half-baked, like they're thrown in to raise questions without clear payoff. The goat ritual in particular felt like it was meant to shock or unsettle, but without enough context, it just comes off as odd for the sake of being odd. And there's just a lot of unresolved mysteries and cliffhangers. I get it, Severance is all about the long game, but man, this season ends with so many threads still hanging in the air. Who's really behind Cold Harbor? What exactly is Gemma's role in Lumon's experiments? What is the true purpose of the Severance procedure? And don't get me wrong, cliffhangers can be exciting, but when too much is left unresolved, it feels like suspense and more like the show's holding out on us. A few more answers, or at least hints, would have gone a long way. And compared to season 1, it's close, but not quite. This is super subjective, but season 1 just felt tighter. Every scene had weight, every episode built tension, and season 2 expands the world, sure, but in doing that, it loses a bit of the laser-sharp focus that made the first season so gripping. It's not that season 2 is worse, just a little more scattered, and depending on how you watch TV, that might either be a fun expansion or a bit of a distraction. So, with all that said and done, we reached a conclusion. And yeah, season 2 is a win, but it's not without its growing pains. The ambition is huge and for the most part delivers. But I do hope season 3 tightens up and brings us some real answers. So overall, Severance season 2 is another knockout. It's smart, emotional, visually stunning, and filled with performances that stick with you. Even with a few stumbles, it proves that this series is one of the best things on TV right now. I'm hyped for what's next. And honestly, if you're not watching Severance, you're missing out. With all that said, I would give this season a final rating of a 4 out of 5. Slightly less than season 1, but really a solid season. But hey, that's just my take. What did you guys think of season 2 if you have watched it? Let me know down in the comments, and smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more reviews just like this one. Thanks for watching, and this is Jake from CINECALIBER.